Indy Mogul.
The fourth day of shooting was the last day that we had scheduled for the original week of shooting.
Originally scripted, it was just supposed to be a convenience store, and unfortunately we couldn't get permission to use what we originally had in mind, so the backup plan was a gas station slash convenience store.
We had asked the gas station to leave the outside lights on so that we would be able to, have the set lit up. And we double checked with them during the day to make sure, and they said, yes, we will leave the outside lights on for you.
We had a couple of extra hands on set. We had Erica Ravaio, who came back, and also Andrew Kim, that was the first day that he was there. So we had Andrew come up with some signs. There were some cones lying around, and we had a little small barricades pretty much blocking the driveway.
We felt like a real professional set once that sign went up. As we waited for the sun to go down, we decided to run down how we would do one of the more involved sequences, the kidnapping scene.
By the time we get over to you, it's already happening. So you're gonna grab her from behind. Let me see. I'm guessing under the arm would probably be the.
So she's biting this hand. So should I be like this?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah. That arm up there, and this one probably lower.
Yeah.
Grabbing like that.
Okay.
In my head, when I wrote the scene, I kind of imagined it with Mark grabbing Jen from behind, holding her off the ground while Anthony's got her legs, and they struggle. They get her keys, throw it to Brandon. We practiced this once just to make sure that they could do the grab okay, and it seemed to go well.
1, 2, 3, go.
We good? There you go. There you go.
Okay.
How's that? Now, how is that? Is that good?
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
All right,
no, I'm not going anywhere. They've got me.
So we did a second practice with the actual grabbing of the keys and tossing them, and that one went not as well.
Having done stage combat before, I kind of expected it to happen based on what we were trying.
So now there's the struggle.
Oh. See, that's what I was afraid of happening.
All right. My heart sunk, and it was like it was in slow motion when that happened, because all I was thinking was, it's a good thing Mark's in good shape, because that would have been bad. At that point, we figured out a different way of doing it.
So it was fine because I was able to brace myself, and I actually trusted the guys enough to realize when it was happening as it was happening and sort of stop it, and that's exactly what happened, so it worked out fine.
Well, I felt every weight transfer when I was holding her, so as soon as I started to feel it, I was like, no! And then, thank God I had a strong knee, and I was able to hold her up.
So, it's getting darker and darker and darker, and I looked over to Russell, said, how come the lights aren't turning on?
I just kept saying to Tug, like, oh, it'll probably turn on at 9. Like, that seems like the hour, like, that's when the sun will be down. I bet it'll turn on at 9 o'clock, you watch. But in my head, I'm like, doesn't seem like that's gonna happen. So we had to resort to lighting the area ourselves with the LED lights that we had, as we didn't have a place to plug in our more powerful lights.
Then, you're just gonna walk around that way. Okay, just walk towards the store.
The one thing that I noticed while shooting most of these scenes and everything pretty much it always starts a little bit slow because everybody's just trying to get prepared. The first like hour always seems to be the slowest, but all of a sudden everyone gets in a groove and everybody starts, things start moving progressively.
Lights on. Start going on. All right. All right, start crawling. Go ahead. Next spot. Crawl again. Up back. All right, go ahead. You're good.
We dealt with everything pretty well. We had to get a few shots over by the convenience store that we did not have permission to shoot at.
Lots of people looking around. What the hell's going on?
People were getting in the way, and then they weren't sure if they could walk by. It made for a few quick, awkward moments.
Hang on, let him out.
No, come on. Yeah, you guys can move the car first. No, hang on, Chris. Let's move another way.
Poor Jen had to walk into the store multiple times holding this very clearly fake baby in her arms.
I was walking in, and I walked pretty far into 7-Eleven because I wasn't sure how far they were filming. So I walked, and people were like, I wanted to be like, my baby, he's not breathing. Someone help!
So one of the highlights of the shoot that night was Anthony, who plays
Drew.
I can't remember the name.
We changed the struggle from earlier so that now Anthony was just trying to grab Jen's legs but failing and getting kicked backwards. On one of the takes, he fell backwards out of frame and he ran into one of the LED light stands and it started to go over.
I was in the moment of grabbing the keys and I pulled away and I ran into the light stand and it fell, and luckily I had the spidey senses to grab it behind my back.
His arm swung around behind him without looking, and he perfectly grabbed it behind his back, kept himself from falling, and saved the light. Some people in the area decided to act like jerks for some reason. A truck kept driving by yelling out, "That gas station sucks!" which is like a really weird thing to have an opinion on. Another guy purposely left his truck running.
Guy pulled in and just left his engine running for 10 minutes next to our shoot. That was nice of him.
This is what happens when you're shooting on an active corner of a city. Ended up wrapping up at around anywhere between 1:30, 2 a.m. ish, and then you had the cleanup time. All the actors go home, so all members of the crew just kind of stuck around and making sure things were back to normal, so that way the owner of the business doesn't come screaming at us the next day. So always have to make sure you clean up after yourself. We ended up leaving anywhere between 3 and 3:30. It was a long night.
That was our last night of shooting during that original run.
All right, man. I'll see you. Jeff home.
Yes.
Great job. As always. Excellent.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I just hit him with there. He just backed into my lens. I gotta pee. Let's try that again. Thank you.
We got everything we needed, which was awesome, and we were not going to be getting back together for about another month, which is when we were going to finish the alleyway scene from the day before. We were going to finish the alleyway scene from the day before.
Gun pointed at me.
Because at that one you were looking up and then you looked back down at him. Just keep your eyes on him until you have the gun. Okay. More on that next week. Don't forget to check out the rest of our Indie Mogul lineup, featuring an Indie News episode on tripod hacks from this past Monday. And while there was no live show this week, that just leaves more time to check out today's Moguler Made playlist, featuring a video on microphone placement from Nick Henderson, an episode of JWV Productions' The Tribe, and more. Make sure to leave feedback for everyone involved, and we'll see you next week for part 5 of the On-Set Experience.